Burnout isn't caused by doing too much, it's caused by doing too much alone. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you one leadership practice that you can actually use this week to prevent burnout before it turns into something heavier. Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. If you're leading in any capacity, ministry, business, or your family, this episode is for you. This isn't theory. This is something you can actually apply to this week. See, a lot of leaders assume burnout comes from doing too much, but what I've seen and what I've walked through over and over again is that burnout usually comes from doing too much alone. I've watched faithful, passionate leaders lose joy, not because they've stopped loving God or people, but just because that they were carrying a weight they were never meant to carry by themselves. Leadership isolation feels responsible, but it can even feel spiritual, but it's one of the fastest paths of exhaustion. So there's a powerful leadership moment in Exodus 18 that doesn't get talked about enough. Moses is leading God's people, and he's faithful, and he's called. And yet his father-in-law Jethro looks at him and says these words. Says, "What you are doing is not good. You will only wear yourself out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone." That wasn't rebuke of Moses' calling, that was protection of his future. See, Jethro doesn't tell Moses to quit, he tells him to share the leadership. And what I love about this passage is that the scripture doesn't frame shared leadership as weakness, it frames it as wisdom. Here's the leadership lesson. Calling needs structure. See, passion can start something, but systems and shared leadership are what sustain it. When leaders don't have structure, everything feels urgent. And when everything feels urgent, nothing feels actually healthy. I think this is where leaders get confused. See, tired leaders often start questioning their calling when the real issue is the energy, not obedience. I think that's why burnout is rarely a faith problem. It's usually a support problem. So here's the leadership practice I want to give to you today. I call it the weekly energy and support check. Here's the deal. Once a week, I recommend Friday or Sunday night and ask yourself this question. What drained me the most this week? Not what frustrated you, but simply what drained you. That question reveals where pressure is quietly building before burnout shows up loudly. Then ask this question. Who helped carry leadership with me this week? If the answer is no one, that's not condemnation, that's information. See, Galatians 6:2 tells us to carry each other's burdens, and leadership was never meant to be carried alone. I get it. There are some things that you can't give to someone else and you can't have, but understanding that there are some things that you could give to other people. And I think that's the part where you get to pass it over so you can actually breathe. If leadership feels heavy right now, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not failing. You're likely just unsupported. Even Jesus invited his disciples to rest. In Mark, it says, "Come away with me and get some rest." Rest, structure, and support aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of wisdom. See, God built rest at the very beginning. On the seventh day, he rested. So we should be able to be like Jesus and rest at certain times of our week. Hey, if this was helpful, I'd love for you to subscribe or follow the podcast. And if you know a leader who's carrying more than they should, share this episode with them. And remember, leadership that lasts is leadership that's shared.